Johnson & Johnson vaccine going crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is really funny because Mark has been waiting for this.
Thank God, bro. Finally. You guys
the vaccine was working too well. And Mark was like, fuck, bro. And
really gonna have to get it.
I knew Johnson & Johnson wasn't ready.
Yo, son.
Yeah, that one shot.
They got a real history, too, of being, like, shady and, like, their baby powder's killing people. Like, this is a fucked company.
Yeah, they don't really do their due diligence, huh?
They don't do shit. My girl did like an internship there in college or something, like, and they were like, they weren't even allowed to manufacture product or something. Something
Wait,
like they
did
had
she
some.
or did she not?
She was a co-op in her business program where you would work, but not like in the factory, like on the other side.
Yeah.
But they weren't even allowed to manufacture products for like 6 months because they had so many violations of some kind. Wow. And then they had this big celebration when they could finally start like reopening or something like this, something to that effect. And she's just told me for years, she's like, this company fucking sucks. Don't trust them for shit.
3.9 billion in talc settlements.
Yeah.
For like their baby powder shit.
When your baby powder is killing people or giving people cancer, that sounds like such a fucking like lizard people thing. Like, no, baby powder not giving people fucking cancer. Their shit was giving people cancer.
But also, that's the thing with these lawsuits, though, is that it's like a drop in the bucket. Like,
because they've made $10 billion on it.
Yeah, so, all right. Like,
I think if they had any kind of evidence that this person was wrong, their lawyers would just win out. $4 billion's a lot.
Yeah.
And also, they're not paying that. They have insurance providers that pay all those premiums, or they're paying premiums, so they don't have to pay when those lawsuits happen. There was a really funny Chris Scopo joke. Chris Scopo is a buddy of ours in the city. Did you see his joke? He goes, says, I don't want to butcher it, but I posted my story the other day, but something like, are you really going to trust a vaccine from the guy who owns the Jets?
That's so good.
It's like, they were 2-14 last year. A couple other tags, but it was really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really interesting thing because this is what the vaccine conspiracy theorists want, right? They want justification for not wanting to take it.
Right.
So where do we go from here? Like, I thought that all the vaccines were the same. Why would they not be the same?
Well, this one is one shot. So it's not the mRNA thing that, like Alex Jones was saying, the mRNA, that's what fucks up your DNA, I think. This is a different one. It's only one shot. It doesn't have to be cooled in stored in these crazy cold temperatures, I'm pretty sure. Like, the one shot is not as high maintenance, essentially, as the 2 shot.
Gotcha.
But actually, a part of the reason we got vaccinated early is my girl was like, yo, Johnson & Johnson, I'm not trusting that shit. Let's get it before that's even an option. And I was just like, fine, I guess. I don't know how shitty. I kind of believe you Johnson & Johnson is shitty, but like, it clearly sucks, dude. From the beginning, it was like 64% effective. And we were all just like, what? We're putting this out here in the wild for people?
50-50.
Yeah.
Coin flip.
That's crazy.
And everybody's like, yeah, it's still more effective than the flu shot. This ain't the flu. The flu is not a pandemic shutting down the country, the world. This is a different thing. I don't want your flu shot. Suck my dick. Get that out of here. AstraZeneca, where you at?
Yeah.
Fucking bums, what you been doing this whole time?
Yeah.
So just to clarify, the vaccines that we have now are Moderna
And
Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson.
Right.
AstraZeneca is...
It's another pharmaceutical company that was developing, I believe, a one shot. And then somehow it just never passed the...
So that one never came out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or it's going to be in Europe, right?
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. Okay. So, Mark, what do you think the repercussions of this?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the conspiracy people are going to go crazy, but it's also like a low number of people that have been like, confirmed.
Women?
So, like, it's still like a big deal to them. Like, it's their lives. Like, I don't know if any of them died or not.
Out of 7 million.
Yeah.
I mean...
Wait, they died?
No, I don't know if they did. But I don't know what their long-term, like, health repercussions are, so I don't want to minimize...
Clotting issues, I believe?
Rare
only
clot.
10, only 10 people have blah, blah, blah. Like, it's 10 people's real lives. But it is only 10 people in 7 million shots or whatever.
Okay, so...
Those are the confirmed ones. There might have been more.
Yeah, like, in what other case are you giving so many people one thing at the same time so that you actually see data that's like... Oh,
yeah.
shoot.
I understand the stakes for the vaccine are a little bit higher, but like, you know, not everybody got their fashion merch, you know. So like a certain amount of shit gets lost in the mail.
You know
right?
what? To your point and to what Mark was saying, if you get any medicine, there's always that thing of side effects may include, and it's this horrendous shit, and you're willing to do that for Allegra. You know what I mean? I got allergies. I'll put up with the potential side effects. If you had a Johnson & Johnson vaccine commercial and there were like side effects could include blah, 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 blah. In rare cases, blood clots have formed. You would still be like, yeah, sure, I'll take the vaccine though. You know what I mean? So to y'all's point, maybe it's not as big of a deal as we're making it out to be.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting what the repercussions are. And it's also, I think it'll expose an interesting thing with like vaccine lawsuits. So like as everyone, because historically you couldn't sue for like vaccine side effects. So if you got a vaccine and got injured from it, like you didn't really have a ton of like legal repercussions. But as more and more people are getting vaccinated, and if there's people that are getting side effects from it, there actually might be,
and they're being required to vaccinate.
Yeah, exactly. There might be legal and like more legal ramifications.
So what is the legal recourse to a mandatory medical procedure, right? Like for kids to go to school, you have to have your vaccinations.
Yes.
Let's say one of these vaccinations does something to your child, right? You can't sue, but your kid was forced to get the vaccine.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand, like...
So I actually wonder if it'll benefit people, because I think like this is where people get all fucked up with the vaccine stuff, is like there are side effects to any medication.
Yes.
And even though the medication is good, the side effects could be bad, and some people are getting injured from vaccines. But because there's immunity from lawsuits for vaccines, people go like, what's happening legally? Why is there protection against these companies?
Yeah. And
there might be an actual reason to protect the companies, but then people are like, oh no, there's no side effects. Vaccines are perfectly safe. And it's like, why are you saying they're perfectly safe? Is there some side effects, blah, blah, blah. So I think actually having mandated vaccines for everyone could potentially change the legal future of it, which actually might make it more equitable and make people less conspiratorial.
So the interesting thing about this is that, like, and I'm not a very big fan of a litigious culture, but a litigious culture does often lend itself to a safer product. Now, sometimes the product becomes so safe that you can't even put it out. Right. Or there's so many fucking building laws and regulations, whatever, that you can't even really functionally live there. Like you're always kind of doing something illegal. And it makes society hard. But there is a protection from putting out some bullshit and just jabbing it into people's veins. If Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, these companies knew that they were going to get sued if this vaccine didn't work well, then they're going to be extra scrutinizing with the process of making the vaccine.
But then the vaccine never comes out.
Potentially they don't bring it out.
Exactly. Or, now here's the other check to it. The vaccine never comes out, now we're fucked. The other check is, these are publicly traded companies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So you might not get sued directly, but the net worth of your company could drop so drastically if people were dying from the vaccine, that check right there, the free market is in a way is making you protect your brand and therefore making the best product.
That would require that there's media attention to whatever the
which it would, in this case there would be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think especially with a vaccine that's this popular.
Yeah, exactly. Which is to my point, like I think that because it's so widespread now, like there's going to be more focus and attention on it, and it could actually change people's behavior towards like vaccine and vaccine liability.
The thing with the COVID vaccine, the government passed the PrEP Act, which gives all these companies total immunity from getting sued for the COVID vaccine because they had to be rushed out.
Because they'd probably go, hey, it's not worth it for us to rush this out, because if we could get sued, I mean, there are going to be issues with this thing. So they go, hey, we'll give you the protection because people need to get it. And if, a higher percentage of people are fucked up by it, so be it, because it will benefit the greater society.
If you compare it to the number of COVID deaths, it's like, this is...
On top of that, the government's just going to say, we didn't mandate it. It's not mandated. Like, it's not even like FDA approved, so it's like...
They're doing this weird thing where they say it's not mandated, but then they're making it incredibly difficult for you to live a normal life
without one.
Well,
you have a vaccine passport.
Yet,
but that's where we're going.
And I'm a guy who doesn't mind the vaccine passport, but it is weird that you're saying it's not FDA approved, then making us get it. So your government won't back it, but also isn't forcing everybody gets it. It's an odd thing.
Yeah. It's one of those things where, like, we're going to find out how much we value entertainment, travel, and ease of life very soon. And I think people who are even, skeptical of vaccines, like, Mark, don't let me speak for you, but you might have a little higher skepticism of some vaccines than like the average person who doesn't think about it.
Maybe. I guess you could call it skepticism. I just view it as like just a natural approach to medicine. Like, medicine has side effects, all medicine does, and to approach any medication thinking like, oh, it's 100% safe, I just think is like...
Fair. Maybe not skepticism isn't the right word, but you're not as willing to just take a vaccine.
Yeah.
Right?
Maybe skeptical is the right word. Yeah, I don't think that's
whatever.
correct.
However you want to classify it. But like, this is one of those situations where you're going to have to decide if you want to travel to Greece more or if you're more nervous about the vaccine.
Yeah, no, I recognize I'll probably just have to get it. Like, I don't care so much for me, and I think like most people with vaccine stuff, they don't care so much for them as much. It's more like their kids. Like,
Oh no, I listen. I completely understand that, and the nice thing about having COVID is it doesn't really affect the kids at all, right? So like in my opinion, I'd be like, don't even shoot up the kids. Like if you're under a certain age, you're gonna be fine. I guess you can be a carrier and then
right now
I
think it's not. There's not kids doing it. Right?
It's not even available to kids.
Apparently, kids are getting COVID now, but they're not getting the vaccine if you're under 18.
Right.
But I've resolved. I'm gonna probably have to get the vaccine.
I guess what I was trying to use you as an example for like someone who values the freedoms that you have in life more than you are upset about potentially having to take a vaccine. Like, and I didn't want to take it. I was like, I have antibodies. Like Al and I were talking about this all the time. We're like, well, why do we need to? We have the fucking antibodies. But the second I find out, if I want to go travel or if I want to go to a fucking event or if we want to shoot a special or whatever these things, and the only people that are allowed to go or only way we're going to allowed to go is if we're vaccinated, then I'm just like, it's just fucking easier to do.
You caved, son. You caved.
I caved, bro.
What if in lieu of a vaccine certification...
Luxury made me cave.
But
it's not even luxury, though. That's like, I don't even believe that because it's also just like human beings want to be together again. So it's not even just, we're so spoiled, which we are. We have great lives in America.
Okay.
But it's not even just that. It's, dude, we have not been together. Human beings are tribal. We haven't been allowed to be tribal for over a year. We just want to do that. If it's a free fucking, everybody just get together and talk in Union Square. It's pretty gay, but we'd all be like, I'll do it. Fine, I don't care.
Okay, one question about that. All right, guys, we're going to take a break from this exclusive Patreon clip because I got to tell you guys about Lucy, okay? Lucy is the nicotine company that's founded by Caltech scientists and former smokers looking for a better and cleaner nicotine alternative. Finally, tobacco alternatives that don't fucking suck. Okay? It's researched and developed for 3 years to be made for the people, not patients. Lucy has created a nicotine gum with 4 milligrams of nicotine that comes in 3 flavors that are absolutely delicious. You got the wintergreen, the cinnamon, and of course the pomegranate. Lucy also has a lozenge with 4 milligrams of nicotine in cherry ice flavor. Absolutely delicious flavor. Each and every flavor actually tastes fucking good, okay? I know you've tried these other nicotine lozenges maybe before. You've tried other nicotine supplements. They all stink. They just taste bad. Be honest, they taste bad. You might like the nicotine that hits you, but you don't like the experience of using them, and it shouldn't be that way, all right? You can enjoy your nicotine, and you're going to do it with Lucy. This is very, very simple, okay? This is the reality of the matter. It's 2021. Get rid of your fucking cigarettes. Unplug your vape. Throw out your dip. Get some Lucy nicotine gum or lozenges. Everything else is just fucking gross. Okay, this is the real deal. It's a subscription to Lucy. It comes directly to your door each month. So it's simple. And you don't have to leave your house because Lucy has delivery down. Our listeners, okay? You go to lucy.co, lucy.co, use the promo code Flagrant. You're going to get 20% off all products on your first order, including gum or lozenges. That's lucy.co and use the promo code Flagrant at checkout, and you will get 20% off your first order, okay? Also, I have to give this disclaimer. Warning, this product contains nicotine derived from tobacco. Nicotine is an addictive chemical, all right? Lucy.co, and be sure to use that promo code Flagrant. Now let's get back to it. Now, I'm not saying this is what they're going to do, and I know this seems like slippery slope argument. I'm not trying to make that. Once we know about ourselves how valuable socializing is and going to these events and doing these things, let's just call them like the luxuries of life. Let's just call them. Once we know how valuable those things are to us, right? Isn't it easier to manipulate us based on those things? When I was in high school, I loved being on the basketball team. It was so much fun.
Yes.
And so did all my boys.
Yep.
And anytime we got in trouble in school, the first thing our school did was take away our basketball. They go, oh, you're not allowed to play in that game. If you're in detention, you're not allowed to be on the team, blah, blah, blah. So if the government wants us to do anything, I'm not saying this is where they're going with this, but if they do, all they have to do is limit our ability to enjoy these luxuries, and we'll cave in a fucking 100%. Heartbeat. 100%. It's kind of scary to know, no?
Yeah. They just game us against ourselves. Like, no pass, no play is what they call it in Texas. If you don't pass all your classes, you can't play sports if you're on a high school team. Because they know these guys need this. So this is how we incentivize them to do what we want them to do.
Yeah.
Now you're more likely to go to class. Now you're more likely to stay, you know what I mean? Try to stay out of trouble. We can easily manipulate humans into doing what we want them to do.
You just have to trust that your government has your best interest in mind. It's like whatever that thing may be. Like some companies will do it with like they do it like opt-in versus opt-out things for like retirement funds or like organ donation and stuff like that. Like certain countries will have like mandatory opt-out, or it'll be opt-out for organ donation. So automatically you are an organ donor unless you say
unless you opt out. I think that's what your license has, at least in New York.
Oh no,
America's opt-in.
Opt-in.
Oh, we're opt-in.
Yeah,
and it changes the rates like 80-20 like flip.
Yeah,
so it's crazy. So if the
Interesting.
government's like, yeah, like you should have organ donation or you should have whatever, like you just have to trust that the government has your best interest in mind. But yeah,
What do you guys feel about organ donation?
I'm a donor.
Donor?
Nah,
Why?
a little superstitious.
Like they won't save you as much?
Yeah,
Isn't that weird?
yeah.
Isn't that weird? I guess the argument is that like if you are an organ donor, and I don't think this is true, but if you are an organ donor, some people say that like if you're on the line, if you're on the border of life and death,
Yeah,
and it looks like it's not going to be life,
right.
then they'll be like, at least we got these organs.
Yeah,
But if you're not an organ donor, they'll do anything in their power
they don't-
to keep you alive.
I think you're assuming they know the people that are getting the organs. Like the doctor has a patient who needs kidneys, and I know what's going
Nah,
on.
not even.
The list for organs is incredibly long. So organs are needed.
Yeah,
all
I
the
know, but
time.
they don't have like any attachment to those. Are nameless, faceless people. They know people need organs, but
hear
they're
what
not
you're
like
saying.
they don't have like an emotional attachment. They're looking at you,
If this guy
doctor
dies,
saying,
my
"I'm willing
cousin
to
can
let this
live."
guy
Yeah.
die to save someone I don't even actually know exists." It's a hypothetical person that I'm sure exists, but
Yeah, like if anything, the doctor is more attached to you, the patient he's trying to save,
Right.
than that random person he doesn't even know.
Exactly.
That's a good point. I never thought about it like that. But
I think the only thing with organ donation, like again, I don't really think doctors are making decisions in like operating rooms, being like, like, do I save 5 people or save the one guy with the organ donation? I think also a lot of organ donations like go unclaimed because of like timing and shit.
yeah.
So it's like I don't really think it's as nefarious as that. I think there's like sometimes a money play that like in certain countries you can get money from organ donation and shit like that. So like in that regard, it's like there's some haziness, but in America, I don't really think it makes that much of a difference.
Does the hospital that has the organ get paid a fee? Because these hospitals are businesses,
I think
right?
for the surgery and like the transferring, and
But the surgery might not be. Oh, the surgery is done there to remove the organ.
to remove it, to put it back in, to transport it, to keep it. Like, yeah, the hospital's making money off the whole process.
Hospital.
See, yeah, I don't fuck with it.
I mean, there are policies, and you probably know more about this, Al, but there are policies of treatment that certain people receive based on the insurance they have, right?
Yeah.
So I know this sounds fucking crazy, but if you have better insurance, you get a better treatment
Yeah, you get
for the
better care.
same injury?
You get better care. You get more people
right.
focused on you. So like maybe
Chris Rock
a
said-
team of doctors.
Instead of nurse, blah, blah, blah.
Chris Rock said when he got rich, whatever his dad got that killed him, if he was rich when his dad got sick, his dad would still be alive to this day.
Based
Decades
on
later.
the treatment
Just
that
he's
is
like the
agreed
level,
upon in the insurance.
Yeah, he basically is saying he's like rich people live lives that poor people like if they knew how good it was for us, they would for sure like kill us all. But that was his point. Is like even healthcare. If you're rich, you just have access to everything.
Yeah.
So,
Now-
so I guess my question is, sorry to cut you, but my question is like, is it possible that is also baked in to the hospital's bottom line? In other words, if there is an organ donor and they're on their deathbed, we don't need to waste money trying to keep them alive when we could make all this fucking money harvesting those organs.
I think you still make money keeping them alive though. Like everything, like Al, if you break your leg, you're gonna go to the doctor. They're gonna treat it. You're gonna get billed out the ass. You're still gonna go to the doctor. You're not gonna be like, yeah, but this, I'm not trying to make you money.
You probably have to be there for like a week,
Yeah.
charging $20,000 a day.
Yeah,
or
every
whatever.
day you're
That's
there.
interesting.
They are
Okay.
making money every single thing. They're
I think you make crazy
searching for
money on
profit.
organ donation because it like disproportionately like benefits the rich.
Yeah, like surgeries make the most money for hospitals.
Like Steve Jobs needed all these organ transplants and shit, and so he flew to Tennessee to go get some transplant for his lung or whatever. Like you have to be like have access to a private jet, be able to be there in 8 hours, like that kind of shit. So it's like disproportionately ultra wealthy. I know someone personally that's like having all these experimental treatments done just because he's ultra wealthy.
Now,
Wait, what's that about?
Just like a personal person in my life that I know that's like
And what's wrong with him?
a heart condition.
And he's looking for a new heart.
Yeah.
So he basically has to sit on ice until somebody has his same blood type or all these other things.
And like exorbitantly wealthy and has had like multiple situations and like things haven't worked out exactly but just has enough money to keep on throwing at the issue. And so like things like organ donation affect and benefit wealthy people. Just
I would say two things. One, I think if more people donated, then that wouldn't be as disproportionate because there would be more access. Right now it's an access issue.
Oh,
two,
fuck. Yeah.
I think he'd be comfortable with me saying this. Brian's daughter, when she passed, his baby girl, they donated her organs, and they like kept in touch with the people who have like her heart and her kidneys, and it's like this really cool bond of like, and it's like kids that got it sometimes. Like some parents are like, "Yo, your daughter saved my kid's life," and we make sure they know about your daughter every day, and it's like a really beautiful way that like they feel like I kept my daughter alive.
They can listen to their daughter's heartbeat again.
Yeah. I've seen videos of that. Like a father will listen to his kid's heartbeat inside the person where the heart is now. There's also a great there's a great video. I think I shared it with you guys where like this guy is out to dinner. He's an old man. He's out to dinner with his family, and he's in like Baltimore or some shit like that. Yeah. And they go, "Where are you from?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm from Ohio or something like that. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, or whatever like that." And then the table next to him goes, "Oh, we're from Cleveland, Ohio." And he goes, "Yeah, you know, my son's blah blah blah, this, that, the other." I forget exactly what it was. And he goes, your heart's inside me." The guy just starts like breaking down. He can't believe it.
Yeah,
and it was pretty powerful.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's also just like the profit structure where it's like, and you can almost even rationalize it when it comes to like benefiting wealthy people. It's like this huge CEO of this massive company that's doing all this work for the world. Like Bezos is like improving our lives. If he needs a heart transplant, should it go to him or should it go to like some worker in his factory? You know what I mean? In terms of like societal good.
You could make the argument that.
Right, that's the utilitarian mindset. Is like
I could see how they justify it to themselves. And I could also see how like a hospital justifies it to themselves. Like when you're doing so much good, when you're helping so many people, when you're saving so many lives, you're probably only chipping away slightly at all that like good equity that you've put into the world when you're going, we have to prioritize this thing and we have to charge a little bit more for this. Like it's almost like I'm sure we all fall into this trap. Like you feel like you do so much for your significant other or something like that, right? That like when you fuck up and stuff, you're like, but I do so much.
I do all the shit. Yeah, I have to fight all the time.
Right.
Yeah, but I do so much. So shut up.
So deal with it. Yeah. But it is to that person, they're like, yo, this is fucked up. And to the poor person that doesn't get the fucking heart, they're like, I understand you saved these 30 people, but I'd like to fucking live too.
Yeah.
Dude, maybe we got to have somebody on to like really break down the whole... Like break down how a hospital functions.
Yeah, I would love that because
I'm curious about that.
Here's the kind of the I guess both sides of it is like if it was a socialized healthcare or whatever.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be the profit structure, but they would still do organ donations. But then you would never question the mindset of, are they just doing this for profit, or are they just doing this or are they doing this to save lives? Because the CEO salary is capped. The hospital can only make so much money.
Yeah.
But then the argument you hear from big capitalists is, but healthcare in those countries isn't as good, which goes to your point of, but since they're not motivated by profit, they don't do quite as good of a job because their salaries.
That's where you just bounce and you just go, yo, America's not doing that shit. I'm out. I'm going to fucking Mexico. They got this doctor that'll do it and I can just pay him. And then you're fucking over Mexicans that can't get the medical attention and shit like that.
You're always going to find someone to take advantage of.
Yeah, it's the tragedy of the commons.
What up, people? You just watched a clip from our weekly Patreon episode. You can support the Flagrancy. You can support this unapologetic, unfiltered, uncensored content that we drop weekly on our Patreon at patreon.com/flagrant2. You want to go join? You should, because it's the top 10 Patreon in the fucking world. That's right, for good reason. Go check out why at patreon.com/flagrant2. All right, peace.